What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a movie that I have been very excited to watch. Honestly, one of my most anticipated films of the year, and I was super bummed because I had early screening tickets for this movie, and I got super sick and felt really crappy over the weekend, and so I haven't really been able to go out and do very much. And so today was the first day that I felt pretty normal and capable of actually going out to watch a movie. And the movie I'm going to be discussing today is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, who, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know Yorgos is one of my favorite working directors. I think Yorgos brings something to the table that is just so incredibly special. He's able to create these really absurdist portraits of our world and incorporate a lot of really fascinating commentary by using this hyper absurdism. And I really love how witty his dialogue is. His cinematography is brilliant. In the past several films, especially, probably the closest to a modern day Kubrick that we'll ever see. And I was really looking forward to watching this movie after I heard that it was an anthology film, a series of 3 stories in one movie, because that's something very different than what Yorgos has done before. And the cast for this movie is absolutely incredible. And so I was really excited to watch this, and I can't wait to tell you about Kinds of Kindness today. Kinds of Kindness is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, a triptych fable following a man without choice who tries to take control of his own life, a policeman who is alarmed that his wife who was missing at sea has returned and seems a different person, and a woman determined to find a specific someone with a special ability who is destined to become a prodigious spiritual leader. So, as I said, I was very excited to watch this movie, and I absolutely loved it. This is everything that I adore about Lanthimos. It's the hyper absurdism, it's violent, it's subversive, it's witty, and what I really like about it is each one of the 3 stories is very different, but there's a thematic through line of control that exists throughout all 3 stories. And I like that this seems to be 3 separate ideas that Yorgos had that he was able to interconnect with that through line where the theme is very similar. And what really surprised me about this movie is I knew going into it, being Yorgos, that it was going to make me laugh a lot, but I also didn't expect it to make me very emotional in moments. And there are some themes explored here that I think are really important and conveyed in a way that makes you as an audience member feel really uncomfortable and feel just the realness of the situation despite the absurdism of it all. And that's what I really love about Yorgos. And I'm excited to tell you about the movie today. So there are 3 separate storylines, as the description states. The first one is a very simple story. Jesse Plemons' character works at this office for Willem Dafoe, and he's married to Chau's character. And Willem Dafoe is either dating or seeing Margaret Qualley's character, and he has essentially planned out every single bit of Jesse Plemons' life to where he writes his day-to-day routine on a card and has to do daily check-ins with him. And Jesse Plemons' character gets to the point where he's fed up, and Willem Dafoe's character asks him to do something that he's not willing to comply with, and it's all about the ramifications of that singular decision. The second story is Jesse Plemons is a police officer who his wife, played by Emma Stone, works out at sea, and her boat has been lost and she's been gone for forever, and he is just kind of losing his mind because she's gone, and he's really missing her a lot. And they end up finding her and bringing her back home, but he does not believe that it's his wife, and it's all about their 2 perspectives on the situation and the strange set of circumstances surrounding it. And the third story is Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons work for a cult that they are going to look for this prophesized Messiah. The cult is, of course, run by Willem Dafoe, and it's about them going on this hunt for this specific person and the decisions they make that impact finding this person for the cult. So this movie, as I said, was fantastic. For starters, I want to talk about the performances. Obviously, Emma Stone has worked with Yorgos multiple times, and she just fits what he asks for in his movies perfectly. Her comedic delivery is great. She shifts between these characters so seamlessly. The way she delivers dialogue is just absolutely brilliant, and I thought that she was amazing. Jesse Plemons is a welcomed incorporation into the Yorgos Lanthimos universe. He was really the standout in this movie for me. I thought that he was phenomenal, made me laugh quite a bit. Also, when he had to get very disturbing and uncomfortable, especially in the second sequence, he was remarkable. He just has such a commanding presence about him, and I thought that he was fantastic. Margaret Qualley continues to become one of my favorite actresses the more that I watch her in things. She just commanded the screen in the moments that she was in this film. She also was really hilarious, and I just felt like she fit the mold perfectly. Obviously, Willem Dafoe was in this. He's been great in Yorgos's work. I really liked the incorporation of Chau in this. I've seen her in a few other things, and every time I've been really impressed with her. Mamoudou Athie, that was in this as well, was also fantastic in his role. And there was just a really great chemistry between all these characters that I think made the movie so easy to watch. Obviously, it's a Lanthimos movie. The cinematography was brilliant. There was so much attention to detail in the editing and the transition from scene to scene, even the title card sequences that jump you in between the different stories, the way the movie flowed. This thing's like 2 hours and 40 some minutes, and I was just completely sucked into the screen for the entire runtime. I never felt the runtime. I never felt being pulled out, because the way Yorgos introduces these characters and kind of incorporates some of the weirder elements to the film just keep you on the edge of your seat until the third act punch of each one of these stories comes around, and I'm really appreciative of that. I also loved the score of this movie. It was really unsettling, and the music really made you feel uncomfortable and uneasy for the entire runtime of the film. And that's something that I think Yorgos always does a really great job when he chooses the music and the people to score his films. He always knows who to get that's going to perfectly accompany this very strange tone that he is trying to convey. And as I said, each of the three stories are very different. I feel like the first one in particular was so absurd and just made me laugh. And it was a really interesting look at this idea of control, and someone who every bit of their life, down to what they're eating or when they're having sex, has been planned for them. And when they get to the point that they're asked something that they just don't feel like they can do, and then the person says, okay, well, you can determine your own life for yourself now. And then they have no idea what to do when their own life has been placed in their hands. And I thought that it was really fascinating, but also really hilarious. The second story really took me by surprise, because I felt like the way that it conveyed not only mental health issues, but like psychological abuse in relationships, and this feeling of when you're in a relationship, if you have a partner who sets expectations for you that seem ridiculous, but you don't feel like you have any other options, so you continue to play into them. And Yorgos obviously does this to a very extreme sense, where you have this character who doesn't believe that his wife is actually his wife anymore, and she's been through this really horrific, tragic experience. And it really made me emotional in moments. I felt like it really spoke volumes to just that psychological abuse and that feeling of like, there's nothing else for you here, and I know you're going to do this because of the way that you feel about me. And it just really kind of was like sticking a knife in you and just twisting it, just like how poignant the subject matter was. And I love that Yorgos is willing to do that in his stories. And in the third one specifically, the cult story, where Emma Stone's character has left her husband and her daughter to go join this cult, and you can kind of see when she goes back to visit her family that there's an element of control there as well, to where the husband isn't okay with her decision making, but she's gone back into this group that also feels very controlling, and that sets her every move in her day-to-day life out for her. And it's really interesting to kind of sit with all three of these and unpack all of the layers that Yorgos has added up in this movie. And it just was so much fun outside of that. I think even if you're not looking to like unpack each and every detail, it's just absurd and ridiculous and hilarious, and the performances are all really exceptional. And it's everything that I love about Lanthimos. And I'm so glad this movie exists. I just did my ranking recently of all his films that already exist. I'm not necessarily sure where this would fall into place. I don't think it's my favorite, but it would probably fall somewhere in like the 3 or 4 spot as of right now. But I really loved it a lot. And I think if you're into wild absurdism with really great performances, you definitely need to see Kinds of Kindness. So have you seen Kinds of Kindness? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was fantastic. I loved it, and it's definitely going to be in my favorite films of the year. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.